I'll welcome both of us into the inaugural cabling podcast. For our audience, we're here with Patrick McLaughlin, a chief editor of Cabling Installation and Maintenance and cablinginstall.com. And Patrick, great to see you here on video for the first episode of the podcast. So, I guess most apropos, since we are and have been a magazine in its 28th year, how about what's going to be in the September and October issue of the CI&M magazine? Can you give us a little synopsis preview for what we'll be reading this fall in CI&M magazine?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Right, September, October issue is the issue in 2021 when we honor and celebrate the recipients of our Cabling Innovators Awards for the year. The ceremony, as it were, took place at the Bixby Fall Conference, which took place in late August. And now in the September, October issue, we have the opportunity to put into print the many innovations that have been brought to the industry, that are organizations of all types of manufacturers, reps, distributors, of course, design and installation companies, user organizations, work together to sort of achieve and accomplish and release, as has been the case in years past. The Cabling Innovators Awards covers a pretty wide spectrum, everything from products that might be seen as sort of simple but are real problem solvers, all the way to very complex programs about quality assurance and case studies about some of the highest profile properties that are around. So we're really happy that once again in 2021 there was a significant level of participation, and I really truly believe that readers of Cabling Installation and Maintenance magazine, when they go through the Innovators Awards recipients in our September, October issue, will hopefully learn something new, hopefully get some information that they can put to use pretty quickly in their work. That's really why we do what we do, to help our audience improve how they do their jobs, make them or allow them to do their jobs a little bit better, a little bit faster, a little bit more efficiently. So that's a big part of our September, October issue. Elsewhere in that issue, we've got articles on things like fiber end face cleaning, one of my favorite topics.
Oh,
it's
yes.
up there with a couple of others, labeling and fire stopping as necessary tasks that sometimes get overlooked, but are have consequences if they are overlooked. So once again, some fiber cleaning information in there. An interesting article about sort of the inherent cybersecurity of using optical fiber. I found that to be a pretty interesting article. It's in there as well. And in addition to that, also an interesting perspective on optical return loss and how at some of the higher speeds that are being transmitted these days in some data center environments, optical return loss is getting some new focus. And also in our September, October issue, a pretty significant look in detail at single pair Ethernet. So we like to think that issue is going to be chock full of information that people can use either immediately or down the road. But we're really, really pleased to be able to offer it. And it'll be, the early October timeframe that hits, and look forward to presenting it to the industry.
Yeah, it's a great issue to really, I think it's maybe our most high profile issue of the year because of the awards. Right. And also it's great that, the optical fiber innovations are just so fascinating and so central to everything we cover. So to have both that in the issue and the Ethernet technology advancements, I mean, we know that single pair Ethernet technology is going to revolutionize the industry for automation and IoT for industrial and buildings. So to have all of that coming together in the fall issue of the magazine, it's just that's the issue. You want to have all the issues you're an ICT installer, Bixby TIA type person, the October issue is the one you want this year.
This one in particular has a bit of everything. That's right. That's right. I agree with you.
So, so this kind of leads into the next thing I wanted to ask you about today, because CI&M is in its 28th year.
Right.
As you know, you've been there. You've been with CI&M for most of that time. I've been here for a long time. You've been here for longer.
We've seen some things.
Yep, we have seen some things, and that's what I wanted to ask you. I kind of wanted to ask you, and we were talking about this earlier offline, about then and now, the industry, over a quarter of a century ago for cabling installation, ICT, communications infrastructure, structured cabling, taking us to now. What's changed? What's different? What has stayed the same? Fiber interface cleaning, you mentioned, but so that's what I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Thanks for this opportunity, and to our audience, thank you for indulging me in a little bit of a walk down memory lane. I'll make it as brief as I can. I was having a conversation along these lines with somebody else earlier this week, the same week that we're recording this podcast. Cabling Installation and Maintenance magazine launched in 1993, and there was at that time there was a head-to-head competitor magazine on the market that focused on focused largely on the business issues of being a contracting organization. When Cabling Installation and Maintenance launched, that other magazine existed. And had planted its flag in the industry and was successful and was informing its audience and was running a great business. When Cabling Installation and Maintenance launched, the concept was to focus on those two words that were prominently displayed in the original logo of the magazine: installation and maintenance. And it was launched with the focus of educating the installer and the technician about the tasks that they needed to do in order to complete their jobs, as I was mentioning earlier, better, faster, more efficiently, to the best ability that it could be. Focus on, again, installation and maintenance, still a part of our name. In all the years we've been in publication, we haven't changed our name. Something that did change, though, in the decade that the magazine was launched, in the 1990s, caveat here, this is my take on things. I think it's a fairly well-educated look at it based on what I've seen, but others may have other opinions. I welcome them. Here's my take on it. In the 1990s, there was I'll call it a shift in knowledge level. And what I mean by that is user organizations, the owners of installed cabling systems, by necessity, became more knowledgeable about cabling technology over the course of the 1990s. I think that what happened was, some of these organizations were committing to a capital expense to install a new cabling system every couple of years. Category 3 was going to be everything they'd ever need, and then Category 5 was going to get you 100 megabits, and then there's this Category 5E because gigabit is coming down the pike. So I think to a large extent, user organizations, some of them, found themselves buying a new cabling system every couple of years and said, what's the story with this? Why are we spending all this money so often on cabling systems? What's the deal? And I think by fiscal necessity, professionals within, workers within, employees within those user organizations had to get to learn what the deal was with these structured cabling systems. As that happened, our audience mix changed. We were launched as the magazine about installation and maintenance, pulling the stuff, terminating it, making sure it's going to test out to handle the speeds that it needs. As more and more user organizations subscribed to the magazine, Again, my theory is, out of necessity, so that they would know what they were dealing with. They would know what they need to specify next time around, because there would be a next time around. We, of course, became cognizant of that. We've always had a tight look at, a close look at who our audience demographics are. And over the course of the 1990s, of course, it's several years in the making, but the number of user organizations subscribing to the magazine just about equaled out the number of contracting organizations that were subscribing to it. And that really didn't immediately or wholesale change the focus of what we were writing about and what we were reporting on. And I say that because from the time that the magazine was launched in the early 90s, in addition to focusing on the installation and maintenance tasks, there was always a focus on technology. It wasn't always exclusively about technique. The articles weren't about how to upsell your customer next time to get 20% more revenue, on that project. It was about the technologies that were being installed, what they could support, and sort of, did that bode well for the future, or what did that look like, in the future? That decade, even though it was decades ago, was really a turning point, in the magazine. And again, it's by maintaining a focus on technology, we've been able to speak to that dichotomy of audience. We've been able to speak to the design and installation contractor, to the user organization at the same time. Now you add to the mix consultants, who are very much a part of, a part of the mix today. Very many user organizations will take on a consultant to handle an upcoming cabling project. So consultants also became part of our mix. We believe that one thing that hasn't changed over the course of time is that our focus on the technologies that are being used, what they can do, and sort of what the future looks like for them, has been a solid approach that's gotten us to where we are, and hopefully, has continued to serve the needs of our audience. So, to talk about what's happening right up to here as we're closing in on the end of 2021, and for me to tell a story about the 1990s might seem out of place, but I really think that was a real inflection point in the history of the publication, and the continued commitment that we've had to serve the needs of contracting organizations, of user organizations, of consultants, and then you throw in the mix a little bit service provider organizations who also make up a small segment of our audience, has kept us on our toes. And I like to think that we've kept that universe of folks informed and allowed them to do their jobs maybe a little bit better by what they've learned from us.
Absolutely. I've always thought that, our audience, it works down at the bottom of the network protocol stack,
right.
But, we look up, up to layers, we look up to layer 7, we consider those technologies, as you just emphasized, and that's what keeps the industry vital for all those stakeholders who you just mentioned. So to wrap up here today, I'll just ask you, as chief editor of the magazine, what can we look forward to seeing coming from CI&M in 2022? I mean, one big thing that I have to mention is our new newsletter that we're going to be rolling out for Fiber Broadband. You want to speak to that, and then anything else that we can look for in 2022 from CI&M?
Sure. Yeah, you mentioned that Fiber Broadband newsletter. That is a result of some conversations we've had internally, conversations that we've had with combination of our audience members and formally and informally, outbound and inbound, if you will, feedback from our audience about what interests them, and vendor organizations serving the industry as well. It goes without saying, but I'll say it because I have to. The impact that optical technologies have had on this industry, can't be overstated. So one of the dynamics that's shaking out in the industry now is kind of like fiber everywhere. Fiber backbones making their way further into even a commercial office space. Commonly held belief was or is that the fiber backbone is vertical. It goes up, it goes up a building shaft, and you've got copper going from there. Fiber backbones now are taking the turn. They're moving into the literal horizontal run.
Yes, sir.
And that's within a building. Of course, if you take a look at, again, fiber to the everything, fiber to the antenna. You take a look at, what's coming on with 5G, a technology that everybody's going to be making use of, and the extent to which it depends on fiber for its backhaul. It just seems like the right time to dedicate a newsletter to fiber technologies, fiber broadband, and really talk about the applications, the technologies, and the uses that fiber is supporting today, is going to support in the future, and really, just like anything else, helping folks prepare for what they're going to do next, whether that's installing fiber within their telecom room, within an edge data center, wherever it might be. That fiber focus is what we're really intending with the release of this new newsletter in 2022. Also in 2022, we're going to have a series of what we're calling on-topic reports. We will publish Cabling Installation and Maintenance Magazine every other month in 2022. So your even-numbered months in February, and April, and June, and so on, you can expect to receive your issue of Cabling Installation and Maintenance. In the odd-numbered months of the year, in January, and March, and May, and so forth, available from us will be what we call an on-topic report. So, a different topic taken on for each of these reports, and we're going to go into depth on them. With several articles addressing that individual topic from a number of angles. That's sort of a targeted or a focused document or information product that we're going to offer to the audience beginning in 2022. Among several other programs that we will continue to put forth. In 2021 we launched what we called the CI&M 50, list of contractors that sort of excel in the areas of C, I, and M. C being customer service or customer focus, I being integrity in the way that they carry out their work, and M being mastery of the trade of contracting and installation. So that's what we call it, the CI&M 50. In 2021, we honored 25 such organizations. In 2022, we're going to go full circle to the 50. We plan to honor another 25 in the year 2022, bringing that total to 50. So the CI&M 50 will reach 50 this coming year, and lots else planned as well. So I've talked a lot, and if it was an Academy Award speech, it would have been gone long ago. Thankfully, no. I'll never be in that position. I know I've talked a lot, but we've got a lot coming up. We're excited to offer products that we truly believe and we sincerely hope remain beneficial to those who make use of them. Those are a couple of the things coming in 2022, and I look forward to all of them.
Thank you. Yeah, we do have a lot coming up, and I think that's why we started a podcast, because I'm sure that a lot of what you just mentioned we'll be able to address in this forum, to let people know about it, to drill down as much as we can in a short time, and to get people, informed and educated, so that as you mentioned when we started here today, that they can have the knowledge that they need to bring to their jobs, to do their jobs better in the ICT and cabling sphere. So, well, thanks very much, Patrick. I trust that this will be not the last time that we will check in here together on the podcast. So thanks again, and have a great one. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.